Warning: the following video is not meant to belittle anyone. It is mainly meant for educational purposes and to show that anyone can do this too with the right amount of preparation. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's get into the video. Sup kings or whatever. Hey guys, Buku here, and we're back with another low level playthrough of Persona 5 Royal. This time we made it up to Shadow Okumura, and this is a highly controversial boss fight, as a lot of people did not enjoy this fight for a number of reasons. A number of reasons people say is that, oh, it requires you to have level 3 baton pass, you have to use Haru in this fight, you have to resort to DLC, you have to turn your difficulty to merciless, and just stuff like that. And while some of those things may be not necessarily true but recommended, a lot of them are not needed, and you can get by with without doing a lot of things. For instance, you don't need any attack items, you don't need to grind, you don't need DLC personas. You'll see in this video. Let's roll the video. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so I forgot to show my exact personas, but I'm gonna make a detailed video that explains my exact setup. But here, the main thing I want to show is that I do have the Psy Amp ring equipped, and the people that I am going to use for this fight happen to have the Eiga ring. The Eiga ring is going to play a very crucial role in being able to get through the waves. If you know this fight already, you'll know how this fight goes, but for those who don't, the gimmick of this fight is that the boss sends out waves of robots that will try to end you, and you have to defeat the robots in 2 turns. If you don't defeat them in 2 turns, then they retreat and Okumura summons reinforcements robots to replace those ones. That's the main gimmick of the fight, and a lot of people did not enjoy that because they felt that they did not have enough damage to take out those robots, and they felt very underprepared for this fight. I will say that the only thing this fight really requires, but that would really help, is that you have level 3 baton pass on all your party members that you're going to use. Like I said, it's not essential, but it's very recommended. The game does give you a free baton pass in Ryuji because you're forced to do 1 day of darts with Ryuji, so you can get level 3 from there. And for the other 2 party members, you can simply just raise them in the same day with the right dialogue prompt. Oh, you also don't need to switch out party members for this fight as well. I'll show you. I believe this to be the second worst team for this fight, as these 3 party members have the lowest magic of any member on your team, and this fight does rely on a lot of magic to do sufficient damage to the robots, as they do resist physical, but not gun. And another thing is that, the reason why I said the second worst team, because I think the absolute worst team would have to be on Haru and Makoto, possibly. Only because for the second last wave, but we'll get to that in a bit. So yeah, I just want to show, I am level 36 for this fight, as you'll see through. Yeah, I'll try and edit it to show what level I am. I'm playing this on hard. I am level 36. I will not be using any items in battle. I will also not be switching any party members. I'm also not using any skills from the Jazz Djinn. I have not obtained any stat boosts on my party members in the Jazz Djinn. Everything in here could be acquired, well, I'm not gonna say it's not illegitimate, but everything that I acquired for this fight was just paid through money and by playing the video game for the Psy Amp ring, but I'll make a separate video for a guy like that. So we're gonna open up this fight. So the main way to open up this fight is by casting debuffs and buffs appropriately. For the most part, you only need to apply either Myrakunda or Matarukaja. Both those skills can be acquired from level personas. Matarukaja can be acquired from Aramitama, while Myrakunda can be acquired from Orobus from level 19 or 18, I believe. So this wave of robot, this class of robots are weak to wind and Psy. So all we really need to do is just knock down. So the main way to maximize your damage for this fight is to single target down 1 robot, and then repeat that 2 more times, and then baton pass to the last member, who will do 2 AoE attacks to finish off the wave. That's mainly how we're going to play out this fight for the most part. Near the end, we'll have to deviate from this plan a little. I would say the first 3 waves are really easy, and you can deal with them with any setup. It's when you get to the last two waves where it gets a little tricky. So after the first wave, that's when the Haru robot comes in, and she'll start encouraging our father and saying some uplifting things to, you know, try and make the fight harder for us. Okumura himself, these robots, this wave of robots are weak to Sai. Actually, no. Wait a minute. No, the other robots from before, they're not weak to Sai. They're weak to wind and fire. I don't know how I messed it up. Weak to fire. These ones are weak to ice and Sai, for sure. So we're going to play the same strategy here, where we're just going to single target them and then fully baton pass the Joker, who will finish them off with Magurula from our Kurama Tengu. And yeah, so as I was saying before, yeah, so Okumura himself does not attack. He only tries to debuff, buff, apply Dekaja, or he'll simply cast Family Scream. So as you can see here, the strongest, ironically enough, the strongest multi-target psychic move is Mapsai at level 30 from Shikioji. All other personas after that do not learn Mapsio before level 36, so you are stuck with Mapsai if you want to do some AoE psychic damage. I took a big break here because I was actually looking up the other weakness of this robot, as I actually did not figure it out. I just went up, I didn't have my document open that showed me the weakness, so I had to go ahead and find out myself. I believe the weakness is electric. Yes, it's electric, so once I figure out that the weakness is electric, I'm going to do this. I'm just gonna apply. So the main thing for this fight is that you do want to apply, once you apply the first Matsurukaja from Joker, from subsequent waves on, you'll want to apply Marakunda to maximize the damage. The way this fight plays out is kind of weird. I'm not sure if every wave of robots counts as a turn for buffs and debuff purposes. I never got to fully figure that out, because by the time 3 turns do pass, Okumura will eventually cast Dekaja to nullify your Matsurukaja. So here I have Thunderbird with... Thankfully, Thunderbird is very useful, as once you max to the Sun Confidant, you can learn Maziodyne from just fusions, as once again we can only fight mandatory boss battles, so there's not much opportunity to level up Thunderbird, but thankfully his fusion gives us all the skills we need to take out that fight. We didn't even need to use Maziodyne. So this is the wave where it gets kind of tricky, because these guys are only weak to wind and bless. No one on your team can learn bless attacks, and only Morgana has wind attacks, so if you don't have Morgana on your team, then you're going to have to be relying on either Joker to knock them down, or a lucky crit from one of your party members, or fishing for a technical from Ryuji or Yusuke, provided they freeze or shock them. Thankfully here we do have Morgana, so we don't have to rely on that cheesy strat. We can just have Morgana cast Gorilla. But before that, I don't want to immediately do that yet, because I want Joker to be the end of every chain. So I'm just gonna cast Mabufu, because I'm just gonna randomly fish for a freeze. And we do get that lucky freeze, which means that we can actually create a level 3 baton pass chain. I say we could because you're going to see why that doesn't actually work out for us. So my plan here was to knock 2 down with Gorilla, and then pass through Ryuji, and then just have him rampage to just spread the damage around. Because I have level 4 technical, I would have knocked down the frozen one guaranteed. But Ryuji, in all his greatness, crit the first one, so I couldn't end up going up to Joker, who I wanted them to do a double Magurula, but because Ryuji knocked them all down, now I can only do 1 boosted Magurula as opposed to 2, which it didn't ruin the plan, it just made me have to waste more turns and more SP than needed. I could have saved about 2 minutes. I could have saved about 2 minutes and a turn if Ryuji didn't crit the first robot, but as I said before, it doesn't matter too much in the long run. So yeah, I'm just trying to fish for anything, a shock or a freeze, but it didn't work out, unfortunately. So thankfully the robots are very inaccurate. They have no dodge, and their physical attacks rarely hit. But because we are so low leveled, and we did have Marakunda casted on us, if they do manage to connect, it will hurt a lot. So we definitely do not want that to happen. So yeah, as you see here, I have to waste more mana than necessary. Now this is where the meat of the fight is, because this is the wave that most people feel like you have to bring Haru to. But as I'm going to show you here, you don't need Haru for this phase. Unfortunately, we got really unlucky with this phase, and most of the guys that I didn't want to get hungered with got hungered. I felt that if I continued on with this phase as normal, I wouldn't be able to KO them all. So here I'm just gonna opt to purposely have them run away so that I can start off a new wave of robots fresh without my party members being hungered. So I'm just gonna have someone. Yeah, we're just gonna try and reapply our buffs. We're gonna refresh our own buffs for this part, and we're just gonna have Ryuji try to shock them so that we can endure this, because like I said before, if they do hit us, it is going to hurt a lot. But thankfully we got 3 of them shocked actually, which actually helps out a lot, so that we only have to fear one of them. Anything else, because as I said before, they only stay out for 2 turns before they run away. And yeah, as I said before, they have very bad aim. So yeah, once again, we're just gonna play this one out, let them run away, start off a new wave with fresh buffs and what's it called, no hunger status. That mindfulness is obtained from the Counselor Confidant. It is very useful for this fight. I would say it's almost essential. If you're going to for this kind of strat where you're using the worst team possible with the worst team possible, you are going to want mindfulness, because you can't restore SP with your items unless you want to fuse a demon with a persona, with Spirit Drain to recover your own mana, but that's a lot more work than necessary. And plus, it's not that hard to rank up his confidant anyways. But if you were to go for a no confidant, no social link run, then you would have to find some other ways of getting mana, which would be Spirit Drain, because Spirit Drain recovers 30 flat mana. So here finally we're going to start this is where the curse rings come into play. Those curse rings can be attained from, what's it called? They can be attained from de-itemizing a Chronozon, who's level 28 I believe. So before I fully start my chain, I'm just trying, because he casted the Kaja again, so we're just going to have to reapply defense down and attack up on a party, because these guys have the most defense and the most HP out of the generic waves. So yeah, as I've said before, this is where the rings come into play, because now we can start a sufficient chain of baton pass where we can finally hop off the Joker at the end. This is also why I gave Joker the Psy Amp ring, because like I said, the most damage he can do is with this. I did learn recently though that you can buy the other boosting rings in the basement of the mall with the amp versions. So if you are, I'll make a video once again. I'll update a video on that showing that. But as I said before, no persona before level 36 learns Map CO, so you are stuck with Map Psy from Shikioji. Now, this part I got very unlucky. Ryuji got crit down. Like, that actually ruined everything. And if you didn't already notice already, if you get knocked down, you can't dodge attacks. And considering how the AI is fixed for this match, where Okumura gives them the order to target that specific party member, that pretty much spells death if they get knocked down. Thankfully, it was only Ryuji that got knocked down. We could still continue on with the fight as normal. There will just be one less person to baton pass to. We do have to revive Ryuji eventually though, because we're gonna need him for the last phase of the fight. Well, the last real phase. And 2, we need everyone to be alive at the end, because if they're not alive, then more experience gets funneled up throughout the party, and that ruins the integrity of the low level run. So yeah, but having your baton pass ranked up definitely helps a lot here, because it makes this part of the fight a lot easier. especially this part. This is the part where you really want that level 3 baton pass. Which, I mean, admittedly, you can just go back, like the game can give you a week to go back and get that. It's not hard to get level 3 baton pass. Like, I would argue it's pretty much makes the game a lot more comfortable with this low level run. So here I'm gonna try and revive back Ryoji because we're gonna need him because this part of the fight can get very ugly if you get unlucky. This guy, he has 2 attacks. He has he has executive punch, which is a heavy physical damaging attack, and he has big bang attack, big bang order, which is an almighty AoE attack boosted by concentrate. We don't want to get hit by either of those, and unfortunately this guy is really bulky. He has a lot of HP, no resistances, but yeah, that's why we're gonna shock him down. This is where the level 4 technical comes into play, because with this we can actually nail him down before he has even a chance to strike us. Yusuke is once again very useful for this because Rising Slash does a lot, combined with the debuffs we applied, the level 4 technical and the level 3 baton pass, means that even at our low enough level we can comfortably squeeze by this fight. If we didn't have Ryuji, if we didn't have Yusuke for this fight, then what we would do instead is we would give someone the the giant's belt item, which gives the person giant slice, which is a medium version of that item, but it would be weaker than the Rising Slash, but it would still work functionally the same, where we get that boost. Or alternatively, we can just have them baton pass the Joker, who can just find a persona that learns that naturally. But for now, we can just enjoy the fact that the executive will not be able to lay a finger on us. And at this point of the fight's pretty much over. Like, once we KO the executive, like, eventually he's gonna recover. Like, we didn't have enough damage to turn him before we unshock, but because he is scripted to always go for the Big Bang charge before he goes for the Big Bang attack, we have no fear of actually being in death's door. We can just simply go aggressive and take him out. I don't know why it took so long. I really could have just killed him with anything, but I guess I just wanted to be safe. Better safe than sorry. I just went for arguably the most damaging move, which is Sayam Sayo from my level 25 Shikyoji. And yeah, as I said before, the fight's pretty much over, but you could still technically lose because the cognitive Haru does come out to fulfill her father's orders. And at this point, she only has 1 attack. It's just a slap. She just slaps you with her tail. Really, you want to just debuff her attack just in case, because she is gonna do something at the end, and just damage her until she triggers her the other scripted part of the fight. Like, yeah, look here, like, what is that? Like, it's just a regular dinky attack. Like, that did nothing. I don't know how he missed that. That's just embarrassing. But yeah, funny enough, this part of the fight does not actually progress until you do enough damage to her. So you actually do have to attack her in this part of the fight. Because then Okumura tells her to self-destruct. That's why we applied Turunda before, because even though we are going to guard her attack, like I said, better safe than sorry. Then Joker gets obliterated. The last thing you want is to get obliterated at the very end and have to redo all of that. Yep, and then at this point of the fight's over. We get our last attack on him. I wanted to shoot him, but I remember that I actually used them all on the big guy. From the gun that's the free gun you get for after you complete, I believe, Kamoshida's Palace. You get the free gun from UI that has automatic shock on it. And yeah, that's how we defeated Okumura. So now we jumped from level 36 to 38, and yeah, that's how you defeat Shadow Okumura. I didn't use Hifumi's ability to switch witch people. I didn't need Haru for this fight. I didn't use any DLC. I played it on hard mode. I actually beat it at the lowest level possible. I did all this because I just wanted to show, well, for one, it's for the self-challenge. And also I did want to show that anyone could do this. You don't need to be some RPG genius. You don't need to be some big brain, 1 million IQ gamer. You just need to prepare a little, you know, just think a little, think about what you're doing a little, knowing how to abuse a battle system, and really, anyone could do it. I didn't even use no boost from the Jazz Jin. No, I didn't have, like, I taught Ryuji charge, sure, but I didn't need to use it for the fight because he didn't need to do that. And yeah, so that's how we defeat Shadow Okumura. And I'm just gonna skip ahead to the very end of this clip because I do want to show that, yeah, I do want to show that I did do this on hard mode. Yep, there it is. I did it on hard mode. I didn't need to change the Merciless. It cost me a lot of money though. This does cost quite a bit of money to do this. As I said before, I'm going to make an entirely separate video on everything I did to prepare for this fight. It's not too much preparation. It is pretty pricey. It does require some little preparation beforehand, but nothing unmanageable. In fact, I would say you can get all the preparation needed to be done in literally 1 week, which is exactly the amount of time the game gives you if you were to fail, if you were to miss the deadline. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. And with that, Buku out. Peace.
Question to be asked, where have I been? I'm a sharpshooter. 手がかりはまるでなしか